I think we can say summer's fun again. I'm having fun with summer.
I have a petition.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to petition Bravo to stop including any weird sexual noises in their broadcast.
Oh my God. Dude, I literally wrote, where is it? Where's this scene? Imrul. Here he is. I wrote, why the noises?
Yeah, we know. We know what's going on as soon as the blanket or shirt or whatever goes over the camera. We don't need the noises.
Look,
Come
right
on now.
Right here. Imrul sex sounds not needed. That was crazy
If
work.
you're listening to us and you feel strongly that they need to leave those in there, let us know.
Yeah, if you're an
We
advocate
need to know
for that.
why.
And I'm sorry we're starting the episode out with that. That wasn't my plan, but it's a valid concern.
It stuck with me.
It was, and by the way, they went back twice. Both scenes had different sounds.
Yeah, don't need it.
No,
We know what's going on in there.
yeah. Once you put the blanket up, we
Well,
got
you
it.
don't. Leave some to the imagination. Why not?
I'm not even imagining it. Just don't.
We
I
don't
don't need
have
to hear
to.
it.
We can hear it.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Summer Goots House.
There we go. All right. Well, this episode was fun.
It was. I had a
It
good
was
time.
fun. Everybody was vibing, and we got all the weird stuff out of the way in the beginning. And we can honestly say, yeah, Craig and Paige should have broken up.
But it's very clear now.
Yeah,
It's-
it gets clearer every time they talk.
And it's also interesting, we've talked about it before, how if you're watching Southern Charm, you get a little bit more of a Craig edit, where it's a little bit more sympathetic to Craig. When you get the Summer House edit, I'm not saying it's more sympathetic to Paige. I'm saying that's the actual story of
We're
what's
realistic,
happening.
yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
She is just growing and moving further from their original life.
Yep.
Her career took a turn. That's the truth. That's what
it.
happened. And then on the other side, it's like, Craig in the backyard, like alone, sad. And it's like, oh, it's like, no.
Nope.
That's not what's happening.
Nope.
It is a very interesting thing to see, since they're both airing at the same time, to kind of watch how they're doing it. But we'll get to it in a little bit. But we start out with just Kyle and Paige wrapping things up from last week. Obviously, they went to go have their conversation, and Kyle gives his little spiel of, he felt that he was a personal attack, then he felt there was a business attack, and everything was an attack. The good thing about Paige is that she's always fairly level-headed in most situations, so she can actually hear Kyle and be like, look, I get where you're coming from. Once again, I'm not involved.
Yeah, we would have loved if Kyle had started this, I guess you can call it an apology. It's more of a clearing of the air.
Mm-hmm.
If he had started off the discussion with, I'm sorry that I put you in the middle, take some ownership of that. But I do like that Paige is able to, and obviously they've known each other for a while, and they've been around each other a bunch, with Paige being best friends with Amanda. She knows Kyle. She knows what she's going to get, and this is as close to an actual apology and ownership that she's going to get. She didn't get pissed off about it. She didn't immediately cut him off and say, look, I shouldn't have been involved. She waited for him to finish up. Everyone else, us included, sitting at home, we're rolling our eyes. Like, come on, dude. Like, just apologize. You don't have to start off by saying, I was attacked over here, and I'm not Teflon anymore. And then Craig attacked me, and I've got Hannah over here attacking me as well. And what about you, Paige? And it's like, she's not involved.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Just apologize for getting her involved in something that she is trying actively to stay out of.
Yeah, she's doing her best to avoid this awkward scenario. And look, I mean, Kyle's always going to wiggle out of it, as we've seen in the past. And I think that for Paige, she knows who Kyle is, so she takes it with a grain of salt when he pops off like that. But without her being this mellow, I don't think that they're going to be able to find a way through, but I think they're always going to be able to figure it out. One, because at the end of the day, Paige and Kyle are friends. They have been friends for a very long time. She knows who he is. She knows you have to put up with that shit. And on the flip side, her and Amanda are best friends. And after losing the friendship between Hannah Berner and Amanda, I don't think that she will ever let that happen again with Amanda. She'll do whatever it takes to maintain that friendship, even if it means putting up with Kyle's shit. But what was interesting to me is, as they're hashing this out, as they're going back and forth, Kyle's explaining why he's upset about the whole thing. Did you hear her say, I told Craig not to?
Yeah, multiple times.
That was interesting.
Yeah, and she even took it a little bit further by saying, when I heard what he was texting you, I was a little disheartened.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's a little interesting. It sheds a lot of light on this whole situation where we don't really know where we stand because we've heard two different stories. We've heard two different stories from Kyle alone, so I guess we've heard three different stories.
The evidence is mounting, dude.
It's mounting towards Craig was well in the wrong.
Yeah.
Not just this was a miscommunication, not just he didn't know how to break it to you. Like, he didn't even have Paige's support on this. He just went off and did this on his own. So it's all pointing to Craig doesn't like Kyle.
That's the vibe.
Yeah.
The vibe is that he did him a little dirty in this deal. And I'll take it a step further. And we're not Kyle apologists by any means. You know, obviously, if you listen to us, you know that we have been friends with Craig on this show for a while.
And we won't even say that this exonerates Kyle either.
I'm not saying it's
just
exoneration.
giving us more of the picture.
Yeah. But my point is, like, even though, like, yeah, we're tight with Craig a little bit, I can see this and be like, I'm trying to see where Craig's in the right. I don't think he is at all. I think that he did him dirty. I think that this whole thing was set in motion, the spritz deal, and then he approached Kyle after he was already going to do
and
it.
we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Where that's the most likely scenario is this was just a courtesy text.
Correct.
This wasn't a, hey, I was approached text. What do you think? It was, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm just giving you a heads up. But he probably, and it's looking more and more likely that he didn't text him and say, I'm giving you a heads up that this is happening.
It was, hey, I want to invest. And then, then when he's like, hold on, Craig's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm signing tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's the, like, but that's, here's what's fucked.
I like how you merged Kyle and Craig in that last one.
Did I say Cryog?
Carrig.
Kyreg. Oh, that's actually kind of a badass name.
Kyreg is a sick name.
A sick name.
That's a good name.
Yo.
Dibs.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Kyreg Magooter. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Pretty good.
That's not bad. I'll take that. He'll be my
Sounds kind of Irish as
He'll be my nephew pretty much.
Yeah,
so like, yeah, like, okay, I'll accept it. But I'm going to take it a step further one more time because look, I know how the general public feels about Kyle plenty of times from his own doing, but this whole thing really fucked Loverboy for an extended period of time. And now we're talking about Amanda's income. We're talking about Kyle's income. I don't have a lot of sympathy for Kyle because, again, he puts himself in these situations. But this had some serious ramifications. And if it comes out, if we learn more and more, and we're starting to get more of the picture, we're hearing that Paige didn't support it. She was kind of taken aback at the text that Craig was sending. It's starting to look like he really fucked Kyle over.
He definitely did. And obviously there's not going to be any love lost knowing that Craig and Paige broke up.
Right.
Because Paige is still going to be Team Amanda with Kyle, and then Craig's not really going to be around. I almost did the same thing that you just did.
Kyrig.
And I think that the funniest part about this whole thing is the more that we talk about it, the more people are looking up the opposition brand.
Yeah.
And, you know, Loverboy's been a mainstay on Summer House for a long time. I've seen it out in the wild. Maybe it's just this distribution a couple of times.
I've seen it a few times.
I think when you and I went up to New York,
I've seen spritz more frequently.
I've seen spritz way more frequently now. And maybe that's just, again, geographic, but it's doing them a service of, hey, what is this company? Is it any good? Let's try it out. It's Craig's. I like Craig. And now we're talking about it even more. So when Kyle goes on Watch What Happens Live and he goes on Summer House to complain about this, it's actually just free publicity. It's a pretty rough look for somebody who's supposed to be this great businessman. Stop talking about them.
Stop talking about it, dude. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like,
let Craig go market them.
Yeah, like, look, you got fucked over. Sure, we see that. And I'll agree with you. Like, yeah, you got hosed a little bit. But put the kibosh on it now.
I hate this term, but, like, it's business.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is what, like, I agree with you there. But, like,
just business.
Stop talking about it now. You're doing spritz a lot of favors. And you are, just because of your reputation in the past, like, you're doing damage to Loverboy. But I will say, I think that the last couple of weeks might have helped him a little bit because I saw it very different.
For his image, yeah, for sure.
We're still in the first scene of the episode.
He still chastised Paige when she wasn't involved in it. So anybody who didn't like Kyle before still cannot like Kyle.
Going back to
somewhere in the middle, you're like, that's kind of fucked up that he did that. And on the other hand, it makes it look a little bit better for Kyle, at least on the Craig spritz of it all.
Right, but that goes back to my point of he does himself no favors.
No.
Like, he's not doing a good job.
Not doing Loverboy any favors, and he's not doing Kyle Cook any favors.
No, but we can also recognize that Craig may have done him dirty. So it's a two-parter there. But let's keep moving. We're going to be here all day. And we get to Lindsay, and they're discussing boobs because she's pregnant. And, of course, Jesse's like, like making boob jokes.
Boobs.
And they just keep flashing over to Lexi's face, just like.
And this was not an edit. This was not production. This was real time. because they had the full wide lens camera. Jesse talks about boobs. Lexi not so thrilled.
Rolls her eyes a little bit, and it's, it goes to her confessional, and she says, I'm confident, but I do have insecurities. That's one of them. So to hear him talking directly about it, that stings a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect it. Like, this is tough because her feelings are valid.
Yeah.
Right? Because of how fast they moved, like, she's allowed to feel these things. I don't think it's crazy for somebody dating somebody to be like, hey, can you not comment on people's pictures, like sex things?
I don't think it is either. And I think that the other part of this is her full transparency.
Yes, I agree.
Like, regardless of how fast they're moving, we're watching her in this fast moving environment be fully transparent, tell Jesse all of the things up front. She even goes a little bit further later, and I think she even mentions it, and she's self-aware, saying, hey, yeah, if I don't do this now, then I'm not going to like what I'm doing. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Fair.
So she has on camera and off camera told Jesse multiple times she's a little jealous. This is what's going on. She goes further about like body image issues and things like that, specifically with boobs. And here's Jesse talking about boobs.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, come on.
Like, so
As much as I don't want to see this anymore, you can't look at this objectively and say Jesse's in the right, Lexi's in the wrong.
right. It's like, is it cringy? Yeah. Is it way too fast, way too much? Absolutely. Is she wrong? No. Like, so it's
Is it fucking up the vibe of the summer house?
yes. Is it going to get worse?
Probably.
1,000,000%. It's going to be a full blown meltdown.
Well, she's not there next weekend. I'm actually kind of happy about that.
That's when the trouble's going to start.
I know, but like the vibe of the house.
I agree,
because
because we don't have to see like the
Hopefully-
lovey-dovey shit. But
When, I'm not even going to say if/when. I'm going to say hopefully when it ends.
ticking time bomb.
Everybody's okay.
That's what we hope.
Like, we're cool.
We hope that like we get through it without too much love
Yeah.
lost.
Hopefully she's new enough and Jesse's enough of a dumbass, like, whatever,
skirt by.
that everybody can just kind of like push it under the rug and just leave it.
I don't know, bro. She's really into
I just
him.
don't want it to be a bomb that goes off in the house.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be. Because here's my prediction. After seeing like the cutesy shit between Ciara and Jesse,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna escalate. We watch in the scenes from next week. It already starts to,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how it starts with like the friend hookup. It's like, oops, I fell over. Oh, I fell over again. She's like, ooh.
We get the well-timed confessional from Ciara saying that she's never looked at Jesse like that.
I know. It's just mounting. The evidence
That
is
one's going to
mounting.
bite her in the ass if this goes away. And I don't think it will. I still just don't think it will, because I think that Ciara, after what she went through last year and the year before, actually, oh, maybe I'm wrong, actually.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
that's what I'm
she might
saying.
do it again.
But I
Don't
don't-
do it again, Ciara.
I don't-
Just have a fun summer.
I don't think she will.
I don't think she will either.
I think that the borderline stuff, the innocuous flirting, I think that's going to be enough for Lexi. Like, what the
Right.
fuck? And that's going to get Ciara pissed. Like, dude, I wouldn't do that
Right.
to you. And then that's going to cause a rift. And then Jesse's going to be in the middle of it. And it's going to be a mess.
Okay.
That's what I
can live with
think.
that. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Could I be wrong? Have I been wrong about the summer house? Many a time. Because you're like, there's no way. And then they do stick. And you're like, fuck.
Good point.
I don't know. This whole thing between these two it's very strange. I don't know how to make it. Like, I don't, because she is not wrong,
Yeah.
but it is a lot.
But this whole scene got me psyched for Beach Can Jam.
Oh, I know.
Spike ball.
I know, dude. I'm so
Love
ready.
a good beach day. Just love
I'm
it.
so ready to be so sore at the end of the day from playing spike ball and shit. But
Just wait till you're sitting on that beach and you turn around and you just see me with a cooler and a spike ball over my back.
I can't wait. And then you'll see me chasing a baby around the beach because Scotty will be running around by then.
playing.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be a stud at spike ball. But anyway, we get a little weirdness between Danielle and Lindsay. And I mean, it's only to be expected at this point. She has to know this shit. Right? She's like, you don't live together? It's like,
enough.
you guys are friends.
I've had enough. I last week I was giving her a little grace. I'm done. I'm done with Danielle.
I just don't understand what she's doing. Because here's the thing.
I know what she's doing. She's getting camera time. Bless you. Double bless you.
Banana.
Wow, that thing echoed all the way through. Last week I gave her grace, but I know exactly what she's doing. She's getting more camera time. She's a friend of. She's going to be there like every other weekend or whatever it might be. I don't think she's a full-time cast member.
We'll find out next week.
Those things don't really matter on Summer House anyway. She's just getting in front of the camera so that she can judge Lindsay, which is what she always does and what she's always done. And no matter who her friends were in the house, right now I would say people like Danielle, but like she doesn't have friends in the house. It's
Like,
kind of a
she's
weird
like,
situation.
she's friends with everybody, but it's not like deep friendships.
Exactly.
The deep
Yeah.
friendship I thought was Lindsay.
Was Lindsay and was Carl before that, and now Carl's kind of like doing his own thing.
Carl's lost. Carl's
but
trying
that's
to figure some
okay.
shit out. It's totally fine.
It's okay. We'll talk more about Carl towards the end of the episode. This is just Danielle once again being judgy towards Lindsay. She doesn't have a man of her own, and she's going to be jealous, and she's just going to self-project all over and talk about Lindsay as if it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. All of
This is
Lindsay's
reasonable.
answers, every single one of Lindsay's answers, I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Look, you're going to have a baby. You're going to love that baby. Hopefully Turner loves the baby too and can stay around, and you guys can progress in your relationship. And if not, and she says this, if not, if it doesn't work out with him, then whatever. I still have a baby. It's like, okay.
I have the baby and I have my place of residence. Like what she's doing now is using her past experiences and saying, look, a lot of the shit I thought was going to work out did not work out. I am definitely bringing a child into this world. The child is number one. I hope it works out with Turner, but history has shown me it may not.
Yeah.
I'm going to maintain my autonomy.
She's got two things. She's pregnant with this guy's baby.
Yep.
While also going early into a relationship and trying to move through that in the right way.
She's finally using sense to get through a relationship. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like, no, this is the right
We're not going to move in together yet. We've been dating for 6 months.
Yeah, yes, I'm
pregnant.
pregnant,
Yes,
sure.
it changes things, but that's a separate thing.
But she acknowledged that.
I know.
So I'm like, okay.
I agree with everything she said. I'm
Me
like, good for you.
I wasn't on board until she goes, we're moving slow. Yes, I realize I'm pregnant. But I was like, okay, cool. Two separate issues.
Yep.
You're
Great.
awesome.
Navigate. Have fun.
Amazing. Yeah. That's for the first time you're doing it the right way. And yet you're still getting shit for it, but whatever. We get Jesse and West, and they're talking about Lexi on the beach, and he's like, I'm feeling weird. Just the jealousy stuff is kind of hard for me to get through, but I haven't felt this way in a long time. And I do want to give it a shot because he says some of his only regrets is not seeing some past relationships through a little bit.
Yeah.
So I respect that. I also respect him not wanting to lose himself entirely. I also respect Lexi's side of saying, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, I don't want to see my boyfriend commenting things on somebody's Instagram post.
Exactly.
Makes total sense to me. But then he flips it and says, well, what about you? What's going on? You kind of ditched us the other night. So I guess that was a bigger deal than I thought it was.
Yeah.
His whole thing is, I don't want you to lose yourself in trying to be polite. I didn't get Jesse's side of this.
I didn't really understand, and it's very clear to me that Jesse doesn't understand where West is coming from.
Correct.
West is trying to be courteous
Respectful.
and respectful towards what's going on. And it's not as Jesse says, dude, you're single. You can do whatever you want. Like, who cares who you hook up with? He doesn't understand that there are more feelings and ramifications. And I don't get why he doesn't get that based off of how that first weekend went with Ciara.
Correct.
Like, West got dragged for, rightfully so, for
Understandably
his
so.
behavior towards Ciara. Things are a little weird. Let's not push it.
No.
I don't want to do that.
If you're-
I'm going to be courteous. I'm going to be respectful. If I stay out because I'm with a girl, I'm going to stay out because I'm with a girl. I'm not going to bring a girl back here because I feel like that would be disrespectful.
It is.
It is. So that's where it is. I feel like West handled this right and Jesse's just aloof.
Yeah. Next summer, different story.
Yeah.
The immediate summer after where
Even,
there's still
towards
emotions.
the end of this summer, like if things are okay and things are progressing well and everything's kumbaya, cool, great.
Do you know what the moment is?
What's that?
When Ciara hooks up with somebody else, West is allowed to bring somebody back.
Not right away though.
No, like
Give
2
it
weeks after.
2 weeks. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
See, like she sets the tone and he respects the
Correct.
tone, and that's what he's
Because
doing.
he fucked the tone.
He did.
So now she has to reset the tone, and once she resets the tone, then things go back to normal.
Correct.
Yep.
It's just music.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone gets
all
it
it is.
except Jesse. But I was confused at his rationale there. But the gang's getting ready to go out. They get back from the beach. Paige can't help but mention to Ciara, look, he's funny. He's a funny guy.
Funny guy, he's just ripping.
He is a funny guy.
Uh-huh.
And I see on Twitter, like, West is still getting a whole lot of shit.
Yeah, well, it'll subside
It
at some
should
point.
at this point.
Yeah.
And like you need, in my opinion, if Jesse fucks this situation up, we will give him all of the shit needed to fuck. Like, us, we will go after him if needed. But there's also some of this where it's like Jesse and West are just two morons that are fun to watch.
Yep.
Be idiots. And sometimes that's okay.
And if
Sometimes
they're in
that's enough.
relationships, it's going to take away from that.
Yes.
That's when I say that I don't want them in relationships, it's not because I don't want them to be happy.
No.
It's because for my viewing pleasure, they're funnier when they're single and idiots.
When they're Beavis and Butthead, that's when they're great.
Exactly.
But people like give them shit for that. It's like, no, that's what they're here for.
Well, I will give West shit for his whole dating show thing.
That's on Complex.
Yeah, it's very derivative of what's that girl's name? Amelia something, who does the hot chick or the chicken date. show? You've seen it before at some point. She's the British girl with blonde hair.
I'm blanking right now.
Yeah, it's all right. She has a very funny show where she'll have like actors and sports like athletes and like all these other people on there, and she sits down. It's exactly what West explains his show is.
Okay.
Where she'll sit there in a chicken shop and go on a date.
Okay.
And just ask them like uncomfortable questions and push through and make jokes and then whatever. West was doing the same thing.
They just do
like,
other
wrote it up.
activities.
Yeah.
I got it.
With Hawk Tua.
She's going
Is
to
she
jail.
alive?
She's going to jail, I think.
Did she ever pop back up? The last thing I heard
did.
from her was, I'm going to sleep.
Well, she rug pulled.
Yeah, I know
her
that.
meme
I know all
coin,
of that, yeah.
And then they're pressing charges.
Oh.
Is the last I heard. Yeah, tough. That's an interesting
I don't
rise and
think-
fall.
Maybe an unpopular opinion. I don't think she should go to jail for that.
No.
If you're an idiot enough to buy the meme
To buy
coin,
Hawk Tua coin, you should go to jail.
you should go to jail. Yeah.
Like, you deserve to lose your money.
You should be banned from investing in anything.
If you invest in meme coins in general, unless you're the one pulling the rug,
Yeah.
then you're just a scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you made $50 billion pulling the rug on a meme coin, you're an asshole. But yeah,
Aren't you investing in meme coins?
fuck no. Oh, I did the like way back, but I
The
put in
Dogecoin back in the day.
$50.
Yeah, and you got
It's actually
300.
yeah, and I was like great, and I sold. I didn't take my like entire savings and be like hell yeah, meme coins.
Well, that's stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what a lot of people did, and now they're pissed off. But whatever. We get back to the house. Everybody's getting ready to go out, and Carl's wearing green clogs, which is an interesting choice.
It's a choice.
He's making a lot of choices.
A lot of choices.
A lot
I
of
thought they were
choices.
Crocs. I was going to be okay with Crocs, weirdly, even though I'm not okay with Crocs.
Yeah, but that's more explainable than clogs.
Yeah, the clogs, they just like those big Birkenstocks. That's what I figured, like the backless ones,
Yeah.
which like I'm going to get in a lot of trouble in this episode in general already, but men wearing Birkenstocks, no.
Is that an unpopular opinion?
Yeah, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah. Do you
Birkenstock-
agree with me?
I don't like Birkenstocks.
No,
Jesus,
yeah.
I call them Jesus sandals.
Yeah, they are. They look like Jesus sandals. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime I've made Birkenstock jokes frequently.
Yeah.
If you wear them, I don't care. I might crack a joke, but we're cool. Shooter cares. It's going to upset him, but
Visually unappealing. I mean, seeing dudes' feet in general is just like,
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. But we're in the kitchen and Kyle and Ciara are talking and they're recapping the Paige stuff. It's like, how is it? It's like, everything's good. You know, I was a little overwhelmed. Shocker. Kyle gets too emotional. But he's talking about his friendship with Craig and he's like, I thought it was this, but clearly it's not. It's actually this. And I'm not sure how I'm going to navigate next weekend because Craig's coming to the house. I don't think it's going to go very well. The clip that we saw, Craig's like, I said, I'll talk to you tomorrow about it. It's like, ooh. So,
yeah, and we can talk about it because that's the only clip that we got.
yeah.
Just get it over with.
If that's how it actually goes down, I'm going to be like, bro, like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Just hash this shit out.
Like, again, I don't blame Craig if he just doesn't like Kyle.
Sure.
I could see
That's fine.
based off of what we've seen on Summer House. It's okay. Like, I think he would be fun to hang out with. He wouldn't be a close friend.
I mean, no, not to me.
So I get it if Craig just doesn't like him, but at least for the show, for your girlfriend, for Amanda's sake, for everybody in the house's sake, just get it over with.
Yeah, dude.
Get the Band-Aid off.
Let it hang
Especially if you
over.
did something to fuck him over.
Right. Just hash it out.
over with,
Hash
yeah.
it out. Like, there's no reason to drag it on. And we'll talk more about it next week, obviously. But we get confirmation because we've heard about this and there wasn't confirmation of it.
Yeah.
I think it's a bigger deal than like, because it's another lie that he gets caught in. Craig did get kicked out of Kyle's wedding.
Yeah.
And he denied it. It's been like, we've heard about this for what, 2-3
We
years?
heard about it for a while and it was never really confirmed.
It was never confirmed. There's like inklings, like, oh, I heard about
Kyle
this.
kind of indicated that it was true. Amanda kind of stayed out of it. Paige never talked about it.
Craig denied it.
It was more, if I remember correctly, it was more central around who leaked it to the media.
Yeah.
And then everybody started fighting about like, well, there were people there that were in the media and they were reporting it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about that.
There's a lot
There was
of
a lot of
weird-
uncertainty for a lot of that, but we never really got back to, did he actually get kicked out of the wedding?
Yeah, we never found out.
And now Kyle's like, yeah, no, he got kicked out
By
of
the
the
way,
wedding.
he 100% got kicked out of the wedding. It's like, all right, well, there's confirmation once again. But we're at dinner. And, you know, Jesse's a little flirty with Paige. And it just wrote like, oh, he's back. Like, Jesse if you want to say it this way, quote unquote, off the leash
Yeah.
is night and day.
That's an indicator, like, maybe you shouldn't be in this relationship.
Exactly.
Buddy. Don't get into a relationship if as soon as you're away from the girl that you're potentially dating,
You're behaving differently.
you're behaving differently. And you can say, like, yeah, he's back to his old self. It's like, that's not good.
No, not if you're in a relationship.
No, like, you're already talking about how you're sacrificing parts of yourself and you're willing to do a little bit. But if there's a stark difference between you in the house with Lexi and then you out of the house without her,
That's not good.
that's your answer.
And we just saw it.
Yeah.
It's like very different. And the one time you were with her on the beach being yourself, she didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good right out of the gate. Let's not forget, you've known her for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's got to happen soon.
Feels like 3 years at this point.
I know, dude.
Parents, you went clubbing with the parents.
It really does. They've moved really fast. But you get Carl, who's not dating and has not boinked in a year. This is way bigger than just, I haven't boinked since Lindsay.
Yeah.
That means he hasn't had sex. Lindsay is pregnant with another man's kid and he's living in the same house. So he's still processing the emotions from Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
4 months pregnant. 4 months pregnant in another relationship with another dude, and he hasn't even boinked another lady yet.
Yeah.
That's a lot of emotional baggage he's carrying around.
Yeah.
He needs to get this out of his system this summer. He
Yeah.
needs to go have some wacky, weird times and just move forward.
You know what you should do?
What?
Hang out with Imrul.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that dude, look,
he'll help. I swear to God, and I like Imrul still.
I do too.
It's an ever-present feeling. We're not really sure how we feel on him.
He
I
is.
still like him.
I do
but
too.
It could go very far the other way. It could go very far the other way as well. But just latch on. If you let him know, if somebody leaks this to the rest of the house and Imrul sniffs it out, dude, he'll invite you out the next night that he's out.
Apparently, all you have to do is hang out with him, and you're going to go home with a chick.
Yeah.
He's 2 for 2. So those are good odds. I would just like
I think Danielle's 0 for 2.
pal around with Imrul. But we get to West. West, are you dating? And the Amanda's like, I'm West dating? Like, no, how many girls you fucking? Haha.
Yeah.
He's been bopping around so much with Complex that he's not really, he literally says, like, I don't really have a personal life because I'm just out and
We
about.
can attest to that too. I mean, I saw he was at one of the Eagles games that I was at in the playoffs, but he went to 3 games in that day.
Yeah.
And it was whatever, like it was an NFL game at 1:00 in Baltimore. Then he was up in Buffalo, and then he was down in Philadelphia for the night game.
Oof.
All 3, he went to like the first half of all 3 games, which is atrocious.
Sounds awful.
You got to stay there for the whole game for at least one of them. But yeah, a half in each of them, that's insane. But that is crazy. Just getting on a jet, going up to Buffalo, then going down to Philadelphia, like that's crazy. So he is doing that.
Yep. But we finish up the dinner with the main course, as they said, Jesse and Lexi, and they're not official because, again, of the jealousy stuff. And he's like, I came into this weekend expecting to leave exclusive, and now I'm not sure. And a great question is, do you want to be exclusive? Or are you feeling pressured to be exclusive? I can answer that right now. He's feeling pressured to be exclusive.
A lot of pressure.
That's not a good reason to get into a relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel like he is doing his best to like push all this shit away. He's like, nah, I really like her. It's like, that's fine.
Even when he has discussions with her, it's not like...
It's not what he said to everybody else.
Yeah, and again, it's not like a hard feelings like, let's map this out. It's a, hey, I'm just like feeling a little bit like this. What do you think? Like, tell me more about this. Okay, cool. I'm glad we cleared the air. It's like,
You didn't.
all you did was ask her more questions about her and didn't tell her how you're feeling. And I think what he's doing right now is, and he's talked about this, he's been vocal about it, he doesn't want to upset the vibe of the house. And I think that he feels this slipping away in the sense of, if I break up with her now or break it off now, it's not even a breakup, you're not exclusive. If I break it off with her now, is that going to upset the balance of the house?
Yes.
And I think it will.
It will.
And I think that, unfortunately, you let her on for 2 weeks. Even if you had done it last week, you let her on that whole weekend. If you had broken up with her then, it still would have upset the
You've
balance
met
of the
her
house.
parents twice.
Yeah, like even before the parents, though, I'm saying, like that after that first weekend, if you had moved on,
Oh, that house
it
would be a
still
disaster.
upset the house. So no matter what, it's a lose, 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 lose situation for everybody involved. There's nothing you can do except nip it in the bud now. But then maybe in a couple of weeks, things will just start to even out. But
She gave him a month. Like,
I
she
know.
even gave him an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Like, you really, if he fucks this up, you don't have an excuse. She's been forthcoming. She's given you a time frame. She's told, like, she is, even if you think it's overbearing or not, she's being honest about it. The ball's in his court, and he keeps fumbling the whole thing.
Yeah, he's fumbling all over.
But we get back to the house. It's 2:28 a.m. Imrul, friend number 2, and cue the gross sounds from his room.
I'm just happy that everybody came back at like after 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah, the whole gang was
house,
out.
except for Lindsay, which is fine.
She's pregnant, totally fine.
The whole house minus Lindsay came back after 2 o'clock.
Great.
That's when Summer House is at
Summer's
its best.
fun again.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job. It's been a fun summer.
I love that like Paige must have drank a little bit too much. She's like, no, not doing the TikTok. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Right to bed.
Yep.
Vomiting in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's a great sound. That's a great sound. That's all I get now when we go on like friend group trips. Just I get to watch all you idiots in the morning. Like, oh,
That's not me in the morning.
and I get to be the guy. You know, the sober trope. Glad I don't do that anymore. Don't miss those.
It's like I even the nights that like I don't go super hard and I'll wake up and like it's like 7:30, 7:45 or something. I'm like, all right, it's nice out. It's the beach. I can go out, grab some coffee. You're already out there. How was last night? How you feeling, bud? Like, fuck you. Why are you awake? I tried to beat you here so that I could do that to you. Nope, doesn't work.
I'm always out with a cup of coffee and a big smile.
Or the one time that I thought that you were actually still in bed.
I came back
You
from
would
the beach
actually
after a workout.
You would walk down to the beach or work out or like you went and got coffee and I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
I thought he was coming from his room. Nope.
You're not going to beat me, pal. But in the morning, you get Jesse and Lexi. And there's a connection here. There's something there. You like the way that they're pillow talking with each other. It is sweet. And he does broach the topic ever so slightly. He's like, how do you feel about us? I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, I feel good. And he's like, how about you? And he's like, I feel pretty good, which was not a misspeak.
No.
That is exactly what you meant to say. And she's like, pretty good. He's like, no, good. It's like, no.
Weeks in, pretty good is good.
Speak though, because he's like, he broaches the topic, but he doesn't dive far enough in, I don't think, because he's like, I want to make sure that our intentions are aligned. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, and I want you to be able to trust me. And I'm like, all right, great. We're off to a great start. But elaborate on that, because he says, I'm not going to embarrass you, but I'm a social person. And then she's like, well, I've got these insecurities. She brings up the boob thing, and everyone's saying, oh, Jesse's a boob guy. I don't think anybody said that. I think she's saying that from yesterday.
Yeah.
But when he's saying, trust me, I just wish, because all I'm trying to do, I don't care about these two, really. Like if they break up, whatever, I'm concerned about the overall well-being of the house.
Yeah.
I need the house to vibe. When Summer House is vibing, it's great. When it's not, we've seen it in turmoil for the past few years because of this shit.
I do not believe that and we've talked about it, obviously we throw the vibe off and the balance off of the house. I just don't think, and this isn't because Lexi's not great, she's only been there for a couple of weeks. It's not going to have that big of a fallout. Like, yes, it might ruin her summer.
Yeah,
It
which
might,
sucks.
by proxy, ruin Jesse's summer. I get like it
It's
depends on how he comes
It's
out of it.
self-inflicted.
And it could, again, by proxy, ruin West's summer.
Yeah.
Because Jesse's down in the dumps and that's his boy. Otherwise, I think that everybody else would move on pretty quickly.
I think we
just
would.
because they're not emotionally
I
attached.
think
to
we
her.
would. Like,
We would. I think we would. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I'm just, again, like, I wish he'd said, I want you to trust me, and then go into exactly what you mean by that.
Right.
If I comment on a post, that's just who I am. These are my friends. Amanda's married. It's a shtick with Kyle even. Ciara and I are just friends for now. Like,
It's just like a conversation that could be, hey, maybe we slow down a little bit and see where it goes. And if her response, which it might very well be because she's been saying this, is, this is who I am. I like to be all in or
that's
all out.
fine.
Then you know what? Maybe this isn't for us, and maybe we'll just see where we are at the end of the summer.
Sure.
That's what you do.
She'll
give you an out if you just talk. And
He's afraid. He's afraid
he's
to do
scared.
too much. He's afraid that he's going to say too much and he's going to push her away and make her upset rather than you might upset her. But then at least she knows exactly where you stand, because this is just more of what we've seen of tiptoeing, dipping a toe in. Let's talk about it. I don't want to talk about that much anymore. And then she brings up the boob thing and he completely changes the subject. And then the conversation's over.
Yep,
so you haven't really accomplished a whole lot. You're more or less right back where you started. It's just all you said to her is, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough.
It's not enough.
But whatever. The most relatable thing I've ever seen on this show is when Jesse gets back to his room with West and he's like, just give me a sec, and just lets like a 10-second fart out.
That's the most relatable thing. I thought the most relatable thing that you were going to talk about is Amanda ordering like 15 different types of like cheese and steak.
Yeah, that too.
That is my move.
That's a 100% verified, certified move.
Recently, it's been like late night Taco Bell that like you don't eat all of it, but a lot of it goes into the fridge, and then you order more food the next day, and then you have like a whole smorgasbord.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime I order Taco Bell, especially if it's DoorDash, because you just click, it's like the most random pile of shit. It's like a crunch wrap, 3 cheesy gordita crunches, 2 soft tacos, some random thing they just dropped that never actually tastes as good as you want it to, but it's the new thing. You got to try it. You know?
Oh, Cantina chicken quesadilla now.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Fancy. I just go for the diarrhea quesadilla.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do.
But now they've got the Cantina Taco Bell down in Center City, so it works out really well.
Is that the one with the booze in it?
Yeah, I haven't been there.
I mean, you got to go.
I have to go at least once just to like start off and have like
fucked up
vodka and a Baja Blast, like a frozen Baja Blast with vodka in it.
Yeah.
That got you going.
God. I am so fortunate that those weren't around when I was an alcoholic. Be dead.
Because it's like absolute bottom shelf vodka too, but like you can't taste it because the Baja Blast flavor just takes over.
Though. Where's Steel? Fucking Taco Bell Cantina.
I don't know why too, but like every time that I imagine this place, and I haven't seen it in person, I feel like there's a fun house in there.
There gotta be.
There's a playground of some kind, and it's for adults.
Yeah, just covered in vomit probably.
Yeah.
But anyway. We get poolside, and I love that Imrul's just repping out some push-ups before he gets out there. He's like, gotta look good. Always gotta look good. But everyone finds out he brought another girl home. Carl's like, he's perplexed. He's like, I can't even imagine like kissing a girl at the bar, and this guy's
Was Lindsay out there at that time?
I don't think so.
I couldn't tell. They didn't like flash over to her until after this.
Oh, I don't know.
So I think she was around, but not there. I can't imagine Carl was talking that freely about that.
But see, that's the point of like what I said. I think that at some point this summer, I don't think he's moving on until they talk.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I do see a conversation that's very quick, but it's enough for both of them to kind of be like, we're good now.
Yeah.
Like I see that coming at some point, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get past it. We get a cutscene of some girl next week who's like, I'm getting lemur energy, and he's like, fuck yeah. I'm like, is that what you need?
like lemurs? Yeah, I love lemurs. All right.
If that's what it takes, great. Whatever.
Fine,
like
whatever.
maybe that's what you need. I don't know.
Can't
But
judge
like
that.
it's a strange place to see him in.
It is.
Like he's just kind of treading water, just trying to figure out what's next. But Imrul joins, and they're like, where'd she go? He's like, oh shit. I didn't see her leave. She's still here? And they're like, no.
Couldn't tell if that was genuine or he's cracking a joke.
I don't know. But we get to learn more about him. And these are the moments in which I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
Because you can obviously get fed up with the like fuckboy routine, bringing chicks
I
home.
haven't seen him be a fuckboy. I mean,
That's a
if
good
he's
point.
just like literally a fuckboy, then yeah.
He's the most literal, not negative fuckboy.
Yeah.
Like, because literally that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like it's an action.
We haven't seen him have the persona of
behavior.
one. He's just doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But transparent about
He's
it.
getting the end result without all of the bullshit before it.
With full transparency, therefore making him not a fuckboy.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, he's
He
an
seems to have
enigma.
cracked the code a little bit of how to avoid being labeled a fuckboy. But we find out that he got married. He was an undocumented immigrant. Ended up falling in love. He does clarify that we were actually in love. Yep. Him and his girlfriend, who was a U.S. citizen, ended up getting married. He got his papers that way. At some point, this wasn't for them. They got divorced, I guess. And he realized, especially towards the end of his marriage, like, this is not who I am. I can respect the fact that this dude fully embraces who he is. And he says things like, be okay with who you are. Don't change who you are for anybody. And like, one day if I do change how I behave, it's because somebody's going to come along and make me change that behavior. I'm like, that's arguably the best way to find love.
Yeah.
If they make you want to become a different person. So he might, like I said, have cracked the code. Be upfront and honest. Be confident with who you are. Be yourself. Wait for the right one.
Yeah. Could be.
I have no issues with what he's doing.
I have no issues at all with what he's doing.
Except hearing it. I don't need to hear it.
He lives in a world where something he does here or there could push us in the other direction. That's why I'm leaving it so open.
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, we're going to be transparent with you guys too. He taught us transparency.
Yeah.
We're going to be transparent and tell you every episode where we are on Imrul. Right now, still like him.
Rules.
Yeah.
He does.
Orgy Beast.
Yeah, Orgy Beast, which I thought was stupid in the beginning, but when they were chanting it in the hot tub, I was like, nah, I kind of fuck with it. Yeah. Anyway, they all pack up to leave. Everyone's headed home, but you get this scene. Jesse and Ciara. He's like, I talked to Lexi. I aired my concerns a little bit, not too much. brings up the boob guy thing. He makes the joke like, I'm obsessed with Paige and she didn't have boobs. Ha ha. And she's like, oh my God, you're so funny. He's like, oh my God, you have a little crush on me? And I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to be good.
This is not good.
This is a disaster. What are you guys doing? Stop it. You know, Jesse, that Lexi is very jealous. Like this is...
it's just not a good look.
It's not. And they're just friends for now. And I don't think it's going to escalate much past anything, but you do see the Austin Powers move. Oh, I fell over. Like there's just, for the sole purpose of the fact that Lexi, even if you're annoyed by her, even if you think it's too much, she's been open. She's been honest. She said 18 times, I get jealous. I don't want you doing certain things. If you're going to be with me, this is how it is. And yet he's still doing it. It's like, dude, you got to know where this is going to go.
You just have to know where it's going to go. And also doing these and doing your confessionals. If you do end up dating this girl who is very open about being very jealous about all of this, and she sees this now, and you guys are 6-7 months in, she's going to fucking hate you.
Yeah. Because you did it behind her back.
Yeah, and he's probably not even thinking about that. I'm assuming, again, because we watch this week to week, it's way different for us. But in the moment, it's probably such a whirlwind of activities and all these things. He's not thinking down the road at all. He's trying to figure out what he needs to do right this instant.
He thinks about it when he gets back to New York and goes, oh, fuck. And then he gets back to Summer House. He's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with her not, like, the other part of this, just with the type of dude that I like Jesse. And I like that, last year, he was just straightforward about hooking up. He wasn't looking for a girlfriend. He was upfront about it. He was dating, but he always told the girls he was dating, like, I was probably going to go anywhere.
Right.
I like Jesse, but all of the things that he's just setting himself up for an absolute downfall.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty. And when he looks back on it, like...
how can you do this after watching what Wes did last year?
That's my whole thing. He's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally copy-paste of what happened last year.
Yeah, like, a lot of people love Ciara more because she's been on the show for longer, but it's still it's a spitting image of the same situation.
It really is. It's going in the exact same direction. And the other thing with a dude like Jesse, who has felt a little inhibited over the past few weeks because of the Lexi situation... when Lexi's not at the house, it's going to be like, holy shit, I don't have any guardrails. And he's going to push things too far.
Just wonder if he's going to, and like, he'll make jokes about it, but will he actually internally say, wow, I feel like I'm back to myself now that she's not here. This is a problem.
And he's not going to say that.
He's not going to do that.
He's going to push.
Everybody else is going to say that, and he's going to make jokes about it.
Yep.
But he's not going to actually realize, like, ooh, yeah, this isn't going to work.
But their jokes about Lexi over the weekend is going to push him further into doing stupid shit. He's going to feel like, oh my God, I don't have anything on me this weekend. Like, I'm going to go nuts. And that's where stupid shit happens. And that's when she comes back the following weekend. The vibe's different. She's like, what the fuck? What happened?
Yep.
Someone's like, you mean Ciara? Like, oh, they were just like playing around. And then she gets mad at Ciara. Now Ciara's like, who the fuck is this? Like, you're going to test me? And then Jesse's like, oh shit. And then the whole house erupts. And now, do we need one weekend of complete just obliterating everything? Yes, we do.
Yeah,
we need one.
Yeah.
Do we need that episode 6? No, we don't.
No.
Because then we got episode 6, then 7, 8, 9 is about fixing the house. Then we get the house fixed, get the awkward 10, 11 episode.
That's why I'm holding out hope for the rest of the house not really being emotionally invested in this and knowing every step of the way, because Jesse keeps talking to everybody about it.
Except
knowing
Lexi.
where it's going to go, they might be bracing themselves for impact. And when it does happen, it really shouldn't mess up the house. That's what I'm hoping.
The rest of them should be okay.
I'm okay if just Jesse and Lexi need to figure stuff out and it's a little awkward.
I don't want her to get
as long as the rest of the house is like, hey, we've got Craig coming in this weekend.
Oh, Jesus.
We got to get Carl laid. We've got bigger issues.
We've got bigger fish to fry here. I just don't want her to get steamrolled. She's not my favorite, but she doesn't
deserve to get steamrolled.
She's been up front, so she doesn't. Yeah. But we get back to the city. Craig and Paige are going to an Australian restaurant, which is interesting. I'm so sorry to our Aussie listeners. I wasn't my favorite.
Did you eat kangaroo?
Oh, kangaroo is delicious.
Okay. All right.
Kangaroo, when cooked well.
Okay. Yeah.
By well, I mean cooked the right way. Yeah. You have to have it medium rare or
There was
rare.
not one bloomin' onion in sight.
Missing out.
Yeah.
Bloomin' onion. Everybody knows real Aussies eat bloomin' onion at the Outback with a nice big can of Foster's. If you say Foster's over there, people want to punch you in the mouth. They don't drink Fosters.
No?
No.
Okay.
They drink all these
Don't
other
drink out of the
beers.
big oil rig can? No. Fuck.
I brought it up when I was there. They're like, oi, you don't drink that piss. I'm like, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Foster's Australian for beer.
Kangaroo piss. I was mean.
That was mean. Why are you taking shots at Australia, dude?
I don't know.
Kangaroo is delicious. I will clear that one up.
So the funny thing is, and this is just where my brain goes, and we already talked about Taco Bell. I thought about Demolition Man,
oh, yeah.
where every restaurant is Taco Bell.
Every restaurant's Taco
And then-
Bell. Is that Demolition
How I
Man?
got there? Yeah, it's Demolition.
I always get that mixed up with Judge Dredd's. Yeah.
Yeah, still Stallone. But
Oh, I know.
you know how I got there?
How?
I went from, this doesn't look like an Outback Steakhouse. There's no bloomin' onion. It's an upscale Outback Steakhouse. When's the last time I've heard of an upscale fast food restaurant or, something along
Demolition Man
Demolition Man
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
I can see how you got there. I
got
could have
there,
done that too. That sounds like my thought
And then I had to
process.
rewind because my brain was doing that while I was watching the scene.
Totally.
Yeah.
But have you ever had Lion?
No.
Me neither.
Can you have lion?
That's what I thought. When he's like, I had Lion. I was like, is that legal?
That doesn't seem legal.
I don't know. I have
You
had
go on a mission with Shep and
probably like South
That
Africa hunting
seems-
trip or some
yeah,
shit.
mhm.
Yeah, I got a lot
you're
of
allowed to do
stories.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, not and personally. I just know people that do that, and it's so dumb. They pay like 70 grand to go on a guided hunting trip in Africa,
No.
and these guides, literally, dude, my uncle, they're in a 18-seat like beautiful Polaris Ranger, which is like an outdoor golf cart that can go up mountains. They pull up to a herd of zebras. The zebras don't move. He gets out of the car with like a 50 cal, which the bullet's like this big, and goes poof from like 10 feet away. And he's like, check that out, man. We've been stalking him for 3 days. I was like, you videotaped it. You showed it to me and you're proud of it. That's
cool.
awful.
Not a fan.
It was like a snuff film for animals. It was horrible.
Yeah, not a fan.
But anyway, I have had squirrel, and it's not bad.
Squirrel.
I've had squirrel in the South. I had squirrel stew.
Yeah, you got to stew that.
I had squirrel stew, and it was not bad actually. But that's also where I got rabies. We get to the business, if you will, and this was probably the most cut and dry. Like, this ain't it.
Yep.
That I've seen.
Definitely.
Because one side, you got Craig, and I get where Craig's coming from. He wants this simple Charleston life, hang out in the backyard, have some kids, slow down, all those things, run your stores. Great. Paige has been, and we know this because she always is, upfront, honest about where she stands. She doesn't even pull punches. She's talking about Lindsay getting pregnant. She's like, oh, I was like, oh, thank God it's not me.
Yep.
And you can tell that rubs Craig like the wrong way. And he makes like a comment about it. She's like, I'm not getting pregnant anytime soon. And she goes on to the career thing. And the disconnect now, which has grown from, I'm living my life here, you're living my life there, is he's now got expectations of where this needs to go. She is now feeling like her success is a hindrance on their relationship because she doesn't think that Craig even wants her to be as successful as she is. Because he makes comments like, one day you gotta slow down.
Yeah.
One day you can't be this
Everything
busy.
he does is always, one day.
One day.
When is that day?
When is that
And
day?
that day is, and I think Paige did this perfectly by going through her whole career talking about this. And I understand the way that Craig was phrasing it by saying, we need to right now, I just want to make sure that we know down the line, we're going to be able to do these things.
Because we're
gonna be
getting
able
so
to
busy.
yes, because we're getting so busy. So I want to do this now before you go off on your tour, before I go open this new store. And I understand that sentiment.
Sure.
But we've seen Craig in all of these shows over the years, Summer House and Southern Charm and Winter House or whatever. He would truly give Paige a baby tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
If she wanted it.
Absolutely.
And I think that she phrased that perfectly. Like, you keep saying one day, you keep talking about down the road, you keep talking about our careers and how we need to make sure that we have some time for each other. I know what you're saying. However, if I told you right now, I'm going to slow down on my career and I want to get pregnant tomorrow, you would drop everything and do that because that's what you want the most. And that's not what I want right now. Obviously it's been hurtling towards this conversation.
Yes.
But it's never been clearer. These are two people who want two very different things right now.
Yes.
And within the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yes.
Craig is not going to sacrifice that. He's just going to get sadder and sadder. Paige is going to focus on her career, and she can't worry about Craig getting sadder.
She doesn't need to.
No.
She doesn't need to because she's made her intentions very clear, as has he. But like, he still has this inkling that she's going to be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. But she's being very honest. She's like, my career took a left turn.
Yep.
I had no idea that Giggly Squad was going to blow up like it did. I'm going to pursue that. I don't want to live. And I think that's the root of it all forever, honestly. Yeah. I don't ever want to live a slow life.
Yep.
And I think that from day one has always been this cloud that's been following them around, but they refuse to acknowledge it. And I'll give Paige some shit for that too, because I think she's known this for a very long time. Yeah. I think that it's becoming ever present because of her success. And the fact that she says to him, like, are you happy for my success? And he's like, yeah, of course. It's like, I don't know. I think that he does feel some type of way about it. I think that she feels some type of way about his responses to her success. And like, I think she's taking it negatively that he's like, I want to slow down, because she's like, well, you're trying to limit me. And I'm like, you don't need to be limited. And that's fair.
This is going to sound mean, and I don't mean it in a mean way at all. I think early stages of Giggly Squad and her seeing some success, but not really knowing where it was going to go. And now people are telling her, and obviously she's got brand managers and podcast managers and nationwide tours and all these things that are happening right now. People telling her like, yeah, this is going to grow. This is going to explode. It's legit. You're going to be doing this for a while. You're going to be very busy for a while. Before that, when she was just doing a podcast with her best friend, doing, back when she was doing fashion, and she was doing like open box things on TikTok and Instagram or whatever. I think the idea was, yeah, if this blows up, that would be incredible for me and I would love that. If it doesn't, Craig.
Yeah.
It's a backup plan.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunately what it probably was. And I don't blame her for that at all, because you don't know what's going to happen with these things. Podcasts, we know it. It could completely fail, or you could get to a point where you can make a living off of it. Maybe you can make a very modest living, or you can make a crazy living. She didn't know where it was going to go. So Craig doing all the things that he was doing, that looked nice, and that's my partner. If this doesn't work out, then I still have Craig. It's working out. Do you still have Craig? That's the problem.
You do. And This was the moment.
Yeah.
This is the moment when you look back, where did it all go wrong? Not even wrong, like where did they grow apart finally? Yeah. And like the funny thing is, like, this isn't new information, right? This is just the first time it's like, I'm not slowing down. You want to slow down. This is an impasse. We're not going to work past this. Like they could have broken up at this table.
Yeah.
That would have made a lot of sense.
The Australian.
Yeah, where she's like, you're going to dump me in an Australian restaurant? I was like, he
doesn't have the balls to break.
He doesn't have the nuts to break up with you, and like for him to even go on and say,
not like in a mean way. I'm not saying it like that.
No,
I'm just
but
saying,
like
he
when he
would
says,
never be the one to break
it
up.
Can be when he says things like, I've never thought of being like a submissive relationship. It's like,
ooh,
yeah. After she just questioned your support for her, maybe don't say that.
Yeah,
like, and I get that he feels the type of way, but it's like she's trying to tell you that her life is going in a direction she never thought would happen. And she's excited about it. And you want to bring her down to Charleston, which is fine. But you should also be able to recognize in that moment when she says, what, you don't like a strong, independent woman? Am I supposed to apologize for that? My career is taking off on a fucking rocket ship. Yep. I don't want to live a slow life. She just told you everything she needs. Yep. And you're not acknowledging it. So that for me, I'm like, bro, it's on the table.
Yeah.
Like, this is the future.
And I don't think it's unfortunate because, I mean, we all know sitting at home, so I'm sure she knows, Craig does want all of those things. He's not going to just adjust because your career took off.
And you shouldn't have to.
And he shouldn't have to. And you shouldn't have to
Correct.
Go do these things and slow down. So
you're on different paths.
All of us watching this, we're like, yeah, Craig is never going to look at you and say, I'm so happy that your career is taking off. He is happy that your career is taking off.
I do believe that, yeah.
For your lives together, he's not happy. Because it means he would have to change his whole way of thinking. Kids, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road.
You'll be
maybe.
45 at your first kid.
You don't know when that's going to happen. Marriage, yeah, that could still happen. Engagement, of course, that's still, all of those things are still in play. But you need to retool the way that you're thinking. We watch you with your friends down in Southern Charm say all the time, like, I'm working all the time now. Now, obviously, we have the breakthrough with Austin that we discussed in our last episode of Southern Charm. But
maybe he'll chime in on that one. Hint.
Maybe he will. Hint. But now you're looking at it like, shit, I need to stop thinking about all these things and just be a supportive boyfriend. I don't know if I can do that.
And that's
the problem.
That's the impasse, right? Like, is that would be the correct response?
But Paige knows that he's not going to give that up. He wants to be a dad.
And that's
why she said, if I gave you a baby tomorrow, you'd be like, let's go live in Charleston and just do this.
And he's like, yeah. So, like, again, the writing's on the wall. You guys want two different things. That's totally fine. And yeah, they should have just been like, high five. This is it. Yep. Smell you later. But
seriously.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey to watch. I'll tell you that much. And at the end of the day, dude, like, fuck it, Paige, you're killing it. Yeah, see where this goes. Follow this as long as you possibly can. You might be the next fucking Joe Rogan. Who the fuck knows? Giggly Squad is massive.
Yeah. Let's get to some questions here. From GT Giarolo, would you wear Carl's shoes?
No.
No, I would never.
No.
No, not even as a goof.
Nope.
From
Love you, Carl. Love you to death.
From Lem Vibes, which Southern House guy is your type? My guess is Shooter goes for West, Steele goes for Jesse.
Really flip that, right?
Yeah, I think flip
You
that.
go Jesse, I go West. Yeah. You got us wrong, man.
Yeah. Close, but wrong.
Yeah, same wheelhouse, different stature.
From Jacqueline Michelle Kress, what are your thoughts on Danielle questioning Lindsay?
Bizarre,
Bizarre.
but also par for the course.
Yeah, we expect it, but we don't like
It's
it.
still always strange to happen. Yeah.
From Things I Like, Things I Love. It's a great one.
I like that.
Do you all think that Wes would care if Jesse and Ciara eventually dated?
No.
I don't think that he would at all. Yeah.
I think if anything, he'd be relieved because he's like, all right, now she definitely can't get mad at me.
Mm-hmm. From Amy Bullock 8, did you notice they stopped showing the faces of the hookups? With Imrul, they haven't shown either of them.
Mm-mm.
It's all about did they sign
Did they sign the waiver?
the waiver.
Yeah, that's all. And he's sneaking.
Imrul could be like, yeah, don't sign that.
By the way, it's not even that. It's like, hey, get in the fucking house. Keep your head down. Like, no, I don't want you to see these people because then they can post and then they're like, Imrul, remember, like, it'll be a whole thing. And he wants, but he seems to know the second one. He's like, yeah, I know this one.
Yeah.
That's literally what he said.
This is actually a funny question. From Billy Big Deals, our boy, has Lexi ever spoken to anyone in the house other than Jesse? Silent in every other scene.
She tries. People don't talk to her.
Yeah,
I
it is
feel
kind of
bad
sad.
for
Like
Lexi.
she jumped into the one
at
TikTok.
the end, and they're like, ugh.
They're like, yeah,
that's sad.
cut out.
And you know what the big part
She's
is?
tried. It's just
She is trying, and I think it's
she's in a bad spot too with Jesse.
Well, here's the other thing. In this house, okay, the women that are left in this house are very close.
Yeah.
They're also older than Lexi. She's got a different energy, a different vibe. So I think that she gets overlooked and almost like, ugh, like that kind of vibe. And I feel bad for her. That every time I see an episode of Summer House, I end up just feeling bad for Lexi.
Yeah, so do I. From DR Cards.
Dr. Cards?
It could be Dr. Cards.
Do you sell cards? You trading card guy?
Hope so. Shooter McCooter.
Oh,
That's me.
that's dirtier than anything I've ever
That
said.
would be me. Who would you rather come back full time, Danielle or Hannah? I would say Danielle because she's the devil I know. Hannah has gotten too big for her britches, and I have no idea what kind of monster would come into that house. She was already very unenjoyable when she was on the show. If she comes back now with a full head of steam, I think it would be intolerable. It would ruin the show.
She can't even go on a red carpet without fucking pissing off Meg the Stallion, who in every interview I've seen is like such a nice person.
Yeah,
and she and even in that moment, did you watch that?
No, I can't.
When she said, anytime I listen to your music, it makes me want to fight people
at
the Vanity Fair red carpet.
Nope.
And then she backtracks, is like, I meant this. It's like, you said that.
Yeah. No, she sucks. I want nothing to do with her.
Yeah, fucking
So Danielle, full bore.
Captain Microaggression. Yeah, I'm good with Danielle.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
That's our show. Bro's gotta go. See you tomorrow.